All right. I've got a day at home today, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to do a bit of a review on last night's game. I'm still quite pissed off about it, to be honest, but I'm nowhere near as angry as I was like 12, 13, 14 hours ago. I did say in a tweet last night, like last night's game is the reason why I don't do watch-alongs or post-match stuff because anything I would have said last night, just it probably wouldn't have made any sense, to be honest. But I've got thoughts that I want to share, so that's what I'm going to do while the house is quiet, while the kids are at school. Um, I think the first thing, the main takeaways from last night's game. I said in my previous video that comparisons would be made between the two managers if the result and the performance wasn't as good as it should have been, and here we are. That's exactly what I'm about to do. If you compare the two managers, forget about their history with Arsenal Football Club. If you look at Patrick Vieira, he's been in his job 3-4 months perhaps, and he seems to already have his players singing to his tune. There's a real pattern to their play. There's a real pattern to how he wants to enforce his footballing beliefs. And let's be honest, Palace were really unlucky not to win last night. They were the better team by far. And if I was a Palace fan, I mean, you saw Patrick Vieira's reaction when Laka got the equaliser. You could see how gutted he was. And if I was a Palace fan, I'd have been fucking fuming today that we didn't come away with 3 points. But then you compare what Vieira's done in a short time with what Mikel Arteta's done. Let's face it, he's in the job nearly 2 years now, and I still don't know what our footballing identity is. I just don't. It looked for a little while like we were settling. The back five were in place and they were looking really, really solid. And especially after the Spurs game, myself included, I think we all got a bit carried away, to be honest. When you look at the Spurs game, for every bit as good we were in the first half, Spurs were just as bad. Dele Alli had probably one of the worst games I've ever seen anyone play in the Premier League, and he was hooked at half time, or very soon after. I can't remember when he got took off, but we shouldn't have got too carried away with that result, I don't think, because in the second half, obviously we sat off and they came at us because they were 3 down, and you would expect that. But we did get a little bit carried away with that result, and then Brighton and Crystal Palace. There's lots of gooners out there saying, we're Arsenal. How can we be drawing with Brighton and Crystal Palace? Well, we are Arsenal, but we are where we are. We're not the Arsenal of old. I see a lot of gooners on social media who are much younger than me and probably became fans off the back of the Invincibles, and we were spoilt for a really long time. We need to be realistic about where we are now, and going back to what I was saying about Mikel Arteta, it's not me. I'm not calling him out. I don't like to see supporters baying for the manager's head after a few bad results, but I'm also realistic enough to know that I'm not really seeing a huge amount of improvement. We're still not creating anywhere near enough chances. And even the back five didn't look solid last night. I mean, we kind of got run ragged at the back by Ayew and fucking Christian Benteke. Now, Benteke, he's not exactly the most mobile striker at the top level. He's about as mobile as a fucking tree mostly. But for his goal, which he did take exceptionally well, but the amount of space he had, and when he turned Gabriel, who's been absolutely outstanding for us this season since he came back, he turned him too easily. He had so much space, And I'm just sat there. As soon as he turned him, as soon as the ball was given away and he got the ball, you knew it was a fucking goal. You just knew it, and I'm feeling really quite depressed about the whole situation today. I'd say I would never do a reaction straight after the game, because I do get really, really angry, not only when we lose, or when we don't have a great result, but it's the manner of the performance. Again, my absolute minimum requirement is that the players out there on the pitch play with the same passion that I feel for the club, or if I was lucky enough to be one of those out there. That's all I expect, and I'm not slating them for their desire or their efforts last night. But Palace just seemed to want it more. They were more at it. We had a good first 10 minutes, and we've done what we've done for as long as I can remember. We get ahead, and then we start treating it like a training game. And this seems to have been an inherent problem for as many years as I can remember. And then we got back on the boil once they were ahead of us. Sorry about my dog, by the way. And I just don't get it. You know, I want to see us when we get ahead going in for the kill. I don't know. It's really, really frustrating. Almost as frustrating as my dog yapping away like she is now. So much for peace and quiet. My dog's a fucking idiot. Right, anyway, yeah, so trying to remember where I got to. We just go off the boil. We get ahead, and the intensity goes, and I don't get it. I just want to see us keep the foot on the pedal, and yeah, take your foot off it when you're 3-0 up, like we did against Spurs, but not when you're fucking 1-0 up after 8 minutes or whatever it was last night. It's just not good enough. I don't talk that much about tactics and analysis, because it's not really my thing. I'd rather leave that to other people who would do it way, way better than me. But I've thought for a while, I don't understand why no one plays with 2 strikers anymore. It seemed to be a few years ago, teams would go with one up top if you're like away in the Champions League or something. But now it's like everyone's playing with just one striker. And some teams can do it. We don't really seem to have the personnel to do that. Maybe that's why we're not creating enough. I don't know. And I get that, you know, you got one man up top, and then, you know, if you go 4-3-3, you can have 2 wider players coming off him and almost like dragging defenders out and getting round them. But the problem is, a lot of defences, and I'm not even talking about world-class defences, like we're playing Crystal Palace last night, who are a good side, but they're not world-class by any stretch of the imagination. And we weren't managing to pull them out of position by having the other players coming in late. Defenders are too cute nowadays. They are too well coached. Defensive coaches know too much. They won't allow their players to get dragged out in such a way. So if you're not going to get that joy from them, why not play 2 up top and just keep the central defenders occupied with 2 strikers running off each other, zigzagging off each other? I know I probably sound a little bit old school and a little bit old-fashioned and traditionalist, but that's the way I was raised with the game, playing with 2 strikers, and it seemed to work then. So why not try it now? I know things go, they rotate, they go in rotation, and there'll be a time when it will become trendy again to not be playing with a false 9, not be playing with 1 striker and 2 coming off of him. There'll come a time again when you go back to 2 strikers. So why not fucking do it now? It's not working for us as it is. So why not give it a bash? You know, when Laka came on last night, it did make a difference. Now, I know it was an impact sub, and I was very, very impressed that he came on before the fucking 75th minute, to be honest. But give it a whirl, because it ain't working as it is. Anyway, that's about all I want to say. Still got the right arm, as you can tell. But, you know, Villa Friday night, I was going to go up my local cricket club and watch it, but there's a geezer I know in the village who's a massive Villa fan, and to be honest, I ain't really that fucking confident about going up there and being able to have a good time, because I know he'll be all over me if we lose. So we'll see. Anyway, till next time, be good.